Welcome back to the Damn Sports Podcast. Hope you guys are ready for another great episode today. You guys had a great day, everything, all the jazz and all that kind of stuff, and just, having a great day. My day wasn't bad. Just got out of practice and stuff like that from football. Also got my schedule for the football year this year. First game's in about a month, so I'm really excited. I'm getting ready. I'm doing what I can to be ready and be out there and really make my senior season something real special. Need it. Very much need it. So, pray for me, y'all. But, back into sports talk. We are going to talk about the game on Saturday with Lakers-Denver and the Lakers winning and going to the finals for LeBron's 10th time, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous that LeBron has gone to the finals 10 times, and more about, I think he's been in one every year since he's not since he's been in the league, but like after he made it the first time, he's been in it since every year besides last year. Yeah, since he went to the Lakers the first year, he didn't make it because of the groin injury. They didn't even make the playoffs, all that kind of stuff. But since LeBron's always been in the finals as of recent, it's absolutely crazy that someone like it's not crazy because LeBron is LeBron. Obviously, he's if not one or two best player ever to play, so it's not the question. But the fact that he's able to do it for so long, stay healthy, and just still be good is we're absolutely ridiculous. It's just like that's such good work ethic to keep yourself in shape, stay fit, and all this other stuff, and stay healthy, just so you can keep playing for as long as he has and still be this good. Not just play and be all right, whatever. Paul Pierce started to drop. He was decent, but he wasn't like Paul Pierce. Obviously, he wasn't on that level like he used to be. But now LeBron is still 38. It's going to be 40 in like 2 years, and he's still going to be one of the best players in the league by far. So it's absolutely crazy. He was in MVP conversations this year as 38. 38, he was in MVP conversations. That's ridiculous. That's unheard of by far. Honestly, the biggest thing for Denver was literally nobody did well. Murray had 19, Jokic had 20, Jakeem Grant had a nice night actually with 20, but just none of them really. You didn't see Jamal Murray and Jokic do what they do to win when they're down 3-1 to start coming back. The Lakers squashed it, made sure they couldn't come back and win because they've been known to do it, obviously, for these past couple times. So LeBron and AD just stopped every idea they had of doing it, with LeBron obviously having a triple-double with 40, 38, 16, and 10. It was ridiculous. Once again, he's 38 years old. This man's putting up a triple-double. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, it's just they nipped it in the butt and made sure that Denver could not come back in this series and pull a 3-1 upset again and get to the finals. LeBron ain't having that. It's LeBron. It's not Kawhi and Paul George or any of that. It's LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They're not gonna let you come back a 3-1 game and just nothing. It's just not gonna happen. Speaking of the Clippers, actually, Doc Rivers ended up being fired this week. Actually, yesterday, exactly, from being the Clippers coach, which is technically the very end of the Lob City era, because he was the last remaining piece from that time period. Chris Paul had left, Blake had left, DeAndre Jordan was gone. He was the only one left, and now it's over. It's just it's crazy to see Doc leave the Clippers. He's been there for a really long time, and he's always been a good coach. It's just that he couldn't get past where he got. They could never make it to the conference finals. They couldn't do it ever. And this was the year that there was a good chance they'd do it and even could go to the finals. So it's just like when you up 3-1 on a team below it and not make it, it's a big issue and could cause some backlash, like him getting fired, maybe Kawhi even leaving. There could be some big issues, and the Clippers might blow up. They might go from playoff contenders to, even contending for the title, to having to maybe make the playoffs as like a 7th or 8th seed, depending on who stays and all that kind of stuff. Because you have Paul George on your team, you're going to make the playoffs. Paul George is still really, really good, obviously. So you're going to make the playoffs with Paul George on your team. And they got really good depth and everything like that, too. So they can make the playoffs. It also is going to depend on coaching, too. But they'll make the playoffs with their team they have right now if Kawhi does leave. Even if he doesn't, obviously, they're still going to make it. They're going to be like a number 3 seed in the West or something. But if Kawhi does leave, Doc being gone, they're still going to be okay. Unless Paul George walks too and all that kind of stuff. But they're still going to be in the playoffs. They might have to change a couple things, adopt a new style. Maybe a new coach is what they really need. Maybe this new coach comes in and changes a lot of things and helps Paul George through his playoff droughts at times and all this other stuff, and can really shape this team differently and help them get to that next level to be in the championship instead of blowing a 3-1 lead like they did. Really, that's all they need, because they were right there. They really just blew it. Now to the East. On Sunday, we had Heat Celtics, and the Heat ended up winning 125-113, putting the Miami Heat, the 5th seed, the underdog team, in the finals. LeBron's old team, the last time they were in the finals, LeBron was on that team, are now in the finals. The Heat have really been that underdog team and that Cinderella story of this year, to see them just go as far as they have and made it and beat this Boston team that a lot of people didn't think they could beat. Including me, I didn't think they were going to beat them. Thought they'd go to 6, honestly, and Boston would just stop it. But Miami was playing at full speed and just doing everything they could to slow Jason Tatum and all them down. They did a very good job, honestly. Jason Tatum, don't get me wrong, he still would put up 31. He put up really, really good numbers. But he was super, super inefficient, and that's what you need. If Jason Tatum went 9 for 26 in the elimination game, you can't have him going 9 for 26 in a game. You need him to step up and win. You just can't. You will not win that game. I don't care what anybody says. He put up 24 points. Don't get me wrong. He's obviously getting to the free throw line. But 9 for 26, JT, you got to hit more shots or at least be more efficient with it. You're just throwing up shots and giving them the ball back. It's just not going to happen. Daniel Theis fouled out pretty early, too, which is a big issue for them because that just let Bam do his thing, which he did. Kemba played decent. He had 25 and 2. Could have been a little more efficient, but wasn't bad. 7 for 15. Marcus Smart wasn't doing what he was doing in the last series, being lights out shooter like that. He put up 20, don't get me wrong. He doesn't play defense. He got 8 rebounds. He's still gonna do the little intangibles Marcus Smart does, but you also can't expect him to be a sharpshooter for Klay Thompson for ever. You know what I mean? It was really nice having him for those series, but he's not gonna stay like that forever. It's not who he is. Jaylen Brown was the only player in that whole series that was efficient the whole time, was constantly playing well. I say it, Jaylen Brown was the best player in that series, regardless, for the Boston. Put up 26, 10 for 17, 3 for 7 from 3, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He didn't foul once. He played 40 minutes, didn't foul one time. He plays great defense without fouling. He obviously knows how to score the ball very, very well. He's a great rebounding wing and knows how to dish the ball. He's one of the greatest young players in the league right now. And he's just playing so, so well, and it's amazing to watch. But if it's just him playing well and no one else is doing anything, it's kind of hard for them to win, especially when the defense, don't get me wrong, is there, but there was times where it'd be lacking, especially with Bam, because they play that small lineup, and Theis can't keep up with him. Obviously, he fouled out, so it showed that he couldn't stay with him. So it's really hard for them to win when they don't have their guy. A lot of their guys are your core guys, Tatum and Kemba, scoring and doing what they're known to do, and not playing the greatest of defense against Bam. It's just they can't do it because their biggest weakness is that center position. And going into that series, we knew that Bam was the X factor. Bam is going to be the biggest guy for Heat, and that's how they're going to win this series. Bam has to do his thing and really dominate, which he did in this elimination game. He brought 32 points, 11 for 15 from the field, and had 14 rebounds and 5 assists. Bam did everything that series. It was amazing to watch. Watching Bam go from a bench player, riding the bench against, watching Hassan get everything. And then that next year we see him start getting more minutes and Hassan kind of fading away. And we see the glimpses and all this stuff we could see from Bam. It's like, yeah, Bam's going to be a great player next year if they keep him. Hassan left, and they got Bam, and Bam was still there. And we're like, all right, Bam's going to run this. He's really fast and small ball 5. He's going to do really well. He's going to do pretty good. But no one thought he'd be an all-star. No one expected that. No one expected him to be an all-star. That was not what anybody thought. And he proved people wrong. He is the hardest working guy on that team, and that is why Pat Riley, not the hardest working guy on the team, but he's one of the hardest working guys on the team, and that's why Pat Riley picked him in the draft. That is exactly why. And it was a great move by him, and that's why the Heat have always been so good, because they've had great front offices with their GMs and their coaches, obviously with Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley. They've never really had issues there, and that's why the Heat have always been at least a decent team. I can't remember the last time the Heat haven't been a good team. Even when they didn't make the playoffs, they were still a good team, and they only barely didn't make it. And they could have, because they had a great spout at the end, had like a 10 or 15 game stretch when they went amazing. So the Heat promise was still there. It's just they needed to iron some things out and get a couple players, which they did, and it led them to a finals. Oh, it really did work. Iggy looked like Klay Thompson. Iggy looked like Klay Thompson on Sunday. Klay Thompson, he didn't miss a 3. He was playing great defense. He looked like Klay. Like, he looked like his old teammate Klay. He just really looked like that guy. Sorry about that. I got really heated there. It was just like, it's a very big thing, and it's really nice to see Miami in the finals right now. It kind of breaks the typical, the 1-2 seeds are going to play in the finals. You know what I mean? It breaks the norm, and it's really, really fun to watch stuff like that. Tyler Hero obviously played great in this series. Duncan Robinson had a great game, 5 for 7 from 3. Dragic was doing his thing. He actually took a load off this game, which is really nice for him, because he was kind of their big guy for most of the series, and he was able to take a back seat to Bam and Jimmy, which is what you want. You want those guys to succeed, because Dragic's getting old. He's not going to be able to play for much longer. You need these guys to really take it and go, especially Bam, because Bam is the future of that team, for sure. Him, Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, even Duncan Robinson, they're all the future of that team. You want them to do really, really well. They did. They definitely did. Jimmy had 22. Bam had 32. Tyler off the bench had 19. Obviously Duncan had a great game. This is what you want from these guys, and it's really, really good to see. I'm glad Miami made it, rather than some basic team that everybody thought was going to make it, like Boston or the Bucks. It makes this finals very interesting and very different, which is awesome. All right. Now it's time for football. I'm excited. Being a Lions fan. All right. Being a Lions fan, we're talking about this game first. I don't care what anybody thinks. We're talking about this game first. I don't care. I absolutely do not care. We're talking this first. We snap an 11-game winning streak, beating the Cardinals. We beat Kyler Murray, picked him off 3 times. Stafford had 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. Peterson really showed that age don't matter. I'm still good. 75 yards rushing. This is Galle's first game back from injury, from his hamstring, I believe it was. And he did pretty well. 57 yards, a touchdown. He was the touchdown. He led the league in touchdowns scored last year as a receiver. So it's really nice to have him back and go back into his normal shape and just do his thing. So it's really, really good. I'm very much appreciated. But the biggest thing that came, you can't leave Matt Prater is the GOAT. I don't care what anybody says. Justin Tucker, more Anderson. I don't care. Matt Prater is the GOAT. Best kicker around. You cannot give him game-winning field goal and he's not gonna miss. He don't care how far it is. Man has the record for the longest field goal kick. Matt Prater is the GOAT. He will not miss a game-winning field goal, and that's what we need. Our special teams is doing very, very well, and it's very nice to see. It's amazing, and I'm loving it right now. I don't care if we won by 3, we won the game. It's all that matters to me right now. We beat the Cardinals. We weren't expected to beat this team. This is at D-Hop, Kyler Murray, Andy Isabella, Christian Kirk. Even on defense side, they had Chandler Jones, Buda Baker, Isaiah Simmons. They're a really, really, really good team, but we still put out the dub. It don't matter. Matthew Stafford was looking like good old Matty Stafford, putting up great yards, 2 touchdowns, just doing his thing. Adrian Peterson obviously did very well, good as well. Galladay, like I said earlier, 57 yards touchdown. TJ Hawkinson even got some love in there, which is really what I want to see because I know he was drafted as a blocking tight end because that's really what he did in Iowa with that 2-headed monster they had with him and Fant. But I still want him to go out and receive the ball because he had great hands. He's kind of like a mini Gronk in a sense. He really has that vibe to me that he can block obviously very, very well as go out and catch the ball and be that big guy out there that just pushes people around, especially later in his career when he's a bit stronger and a bit bigger, so he can really, really do that. So I'm excited for him, and I'm glad he got the targets and touches he did this week. Jesse James finally came back too after not really being seen in the last 2 games. He made a big play. He made some big impact in this game with a touchdown, obviously. Marvin Jones obviously still playing very well. Even he may got less targets and less touches after Galladay came back, which makes sense. Galladay is our number 1 receiver. Marvin Jones is definitely a number 2 guy. But Jones is still a great one of the better receivers in the league too, so you can't sleep on him neither. DeAndre Swift made up for his drop with a little 19-yard catch. He didn't do bad. But the biggest story I personally think of this game is the rookie Jeff Okudah playing very well. You had 6 tackles, 2 TFLs, and a pick. Jeff Okudah, that pick was nasty. Man, full reached out and took that from D-Hop. He didn't take it from him like he took it out of his hands, but Kyler Murray threw it, and it was a bit low and a little bit behind him. Jeff Okudah really reached out and grabbed that ball and made a big play, and I'm very happy to see that because with losing Darius Slay, it was a question mark at corner. What are we gonna do? Where does our man-to-man lockdown corner go? And that's why we drafted Jeff Okudah, because he was supposed to be that guy, and he's showing to be that guy. So I'm very, very happy for that. I think Trey Flowers needs to make more of an impact. I know he's a vet. He needs to kind of do that more. It's a little hard in this game, especially because you have Kyler Murray, really, really fast quarterback, obviously, very mobile. And he knows how to scale the pocket very well. So it's kind of hard for him to make a big impact, but I will still like to see more out of him. Now that's done. Go Lions, by the way. I just want to make sure that's clear. Go Lions. We will talk about the Seahawks game, which was very good as well. 38-31 Seahawks. Wilson is making that MVP case. He's my MVP this season. He absolutely is going to get it. Like, I thought about it week 1, and I said it here too, that he's probably going to be MVP. I'm definitely sticking by it. When he throws another 5-touchdown game against the Cowboys, 315 yards as well, like, Russell Wilson wants the MVP this season. He's going. If he keeps playing the way he's playing, he's going to get it. And anybody that has my fantasy loves life right now. DK Metcalf had a big mishap in that game, had an easy touchdown, but he celebrated too early, went one hand, just kind of tried to walk it in, and the corner knocked it right out. Touchback was a big play in that game, but still, they still ended up pulling out the win. That's all you really want to see. And he did well, so can't complain too much. But at the same time, TK, next time, now you know, young buck, get across the line first. Get across the line first, then celebrate with the one hand. Make sure you get there first, because if not, something like that might happen again. And I know Pete Carroll was definitely getting on him for that. There's no way you wouldn't be, because that was an easy touchdown. That would have gave, I don't know, maybe he gives Russell Wilson 6 if the game still goes out the way, but he might still only have 4, because then with that touchdown, the game could probably be the same way, or it could have been better, and the game could have maybe not gotten this close. So it's hard to say. Dak didn't do bad. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Definitely want to see less picks out of him, but he's definitely proving more than most people think. Dak is trying to earn his money right now, and he's not doing bad at it. Zeke needs to step up, though. 34 yards and a touchdown. Like, you got that feed me tattoo. We give you 14 carries. You only got 34 yards. That was that Seattle defense that everybody was talking about. Was doing very, very well. You have, even the thing is with them too, you have DBs with Seattle that aren't just, I'm going to go out in coverage and go catch the pick or something like that. Jamal Adams will be in the box and go make a tackle. That's what Jamal Adams has always been since he's been in the league. So it's not out the question for him to do what he did. So it makes sense. Like, he can be in the box. He can mess up a play. He can go make a tackle. He's a hybrid safety that everybody wants. And that's why Dallas paid, and that's why Seattle paid him to go get him. Dallas wanted him. He wanted to go to Dallas, but Seattle ended up paying him, and he's not going to complain. He don't care who he gets paid by, as long as he gets paid. That's what everybody thinks. Another big game was the Bears-Falcons game, with Foles coming in late and throwing 3 touchdowns. Yeah, that was a big thing for Nick. Nick Foles actually was named the starting QB for this week after Mitch Trubisky played like absolute dookie. 128, one touchdown, 1 pick, 59 QBR, 71 rating. Trubisky had was looking nice and early. He's like, oh, bet Trubisky's gonna do really well this season. No. Don't put that on you. Don't put that on him. Trubisky putting on a little show, try to keep a spot, but you forget there's a Super Bowl champion behind you at backup, and he was a backup when he won it. So they gonna put him in, and that's exactly what they did. 3 touchdowns and a pick. Nick Foles won them that game with that late throw to Allen Robinson. Nick Foles is showing that little Nick Foles that came out in the Eagles and won them a Super Bowl. So it's nice to see from them. But once again, Mitch Trubisky, you about to lose your spot to a backup. And it's not like it was in the Eagles where Carson Wentz was just hurt, and that is why. No. You just losing your spot because you playing like Doogie. So you got to step it up. There's no excuse. Step it up. Or lose that spot. That's all it is. Falcons obviously played well. Matt Ryan didn't have a crazy game. 238 yards, touchdown, and a pick. Nothing crazy. You like to see Todd Gurley, though. Todd Gurley was a big question mark coming into the season, and he had 80 yards and a touchdown. But in these recent past 3 games, Todd Gurley hasn't looked too bad. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't looked amazing, but he's kind of showing us that he can still be himself. And Atlanta definitely shouldn't have won this game, but they blew another lead like again. So Atlanta needs to stop blowing leads, or they need to do something. They need to change their coaching, because that's got to be the issue. Your defensive coaching has got to be. You got to fire the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator, honestly, because you guys can't keep a lead. I mean, you guys can't stop them from scoring when you have a lead, and you guys can't keep scoring when you have it. That's why you're losing. So you guys score early, but then your defense can't stop them. So you guys need to either beef up your defense or get a defensive coordinator that knows what he's doing. It has to be what it is. There's no other way around it, because just you can't blow this many leads and there's not an issue. There's something wrong. There's got to be something wrong. Calvin really had a nice game, 110 yards, no touchdown. You want to see him obviously get in the touchdown department like that, but he still obviously had a great game. So really Atlanta just needs to fix what's the issue, what makes them keep blowing leads. I think it's their defense. It's got to be their defense. There's no other reason behind it. It doesn't make any sense. Now, very, 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 very interesting game. The Bills-Rams game. Josh Allen is looking amazing this year. Amazing. And it's so fun to watch. Oh my God, is it fun to watch. The Bills shouldn't have got this game so close because they blew a 25-point lead. But they're still a young team, and they have some injuries at linebacker for them. So there's a few issues there, but still. This is a big issue. And you are playing the Rams, who, as we know, are like the greatest show on turf type team. And their offense is very, very dangerous with their offensive mind of Sean McVay. So it's very, very hard to really keep them down on offense, especially when their defense is very good as well with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. Especially Aaron Donald coming at you all the time. I don't care if Josh Allen is, don't get me wrong, he's athletic. He's a big guy too. But it's still really hard to go around and not get tackled by Aaron Donald, who is a freak of nature. With his speed and his strength, he's just... he's ridiculous to deal with, and nobody wants to do it. I don't care if you are Andrew Whitworth or the best tackle in the league. You can still not guard Aaron Donald. There's no way. And Josh Allen had 311 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. Devin Singletary had 71 yards rushing. Cole Beasley had 100 yards receiving. Jared Goff, on the want of a comeback, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Henderson, the guy that came in for Gurley and is doing very, very well, 114 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp obviously is always known to do very well too, 107 yards and a touchdown. But yeah, like Josh Allen is looking very, very good, and it looks like Buffalo has a real shot of winning their division and going to the playoffs and going pretty deep. If Josh Allen keeps playing the way he is playing with Diggs and Beasley, and they got some speed out there at receiver, they can really make some noise and go to the playoffs and maybe surprise some people. They can go to first round bye if they win the division, which I could definitely see if the Patriots have some struggles along the way, because Cam is looking good, don't get me wrong, but there's definitely some weaknesses there. Definitely some weaknesses, especially on defense. But yeah, Buffalo has a very good shot of winning their division this year and surprising a lot of people. So that's definitely what you want to see. See them go to the divisional round, maybe win it. We'll see, depending on who they have to play. But they have a real shot this year, honestly. Should be a very, very fun team to watch, especially with Josh Allen, the way he's playing. Obviously, throwing the ball 80 yards down the field and making touchdowns is obviously super exciting to watch, as well as him being athlete too, being as tall and big as he is, and still being able to run decent amount, jump over people and run people over. So he's nice. Buffalo's that team to watch this year. I think it's gonna be very, very cool to watch. The only thing, still the one knock on Josh Allen, he fumbles a lot and he still does it, and I don't know really how to change that. You kind of just have to make sure Allen keeps the ball more secure. It's really about it. It's the only really thing I could think of. But besides that, great team to watch. Chiefs-Ravens on Monday was also a good game to look at and see how well they would do. Obviously, because it's a big quarterback matchup. Quarterbacks of the future. And Lamar Jackson didn't do so hot, 97 yards and a touchdown. But, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes and threw 385 yards and 4 touchdowns. And that crazy mind of Andy Reid and the Chiefs running the most weird-looking routes I've ever seen. Not even routes, honestly, plays. Like, you have like a double fake reverse into a play action bomb for a touchdown and just a bunch of other things. It's just like, it's so hard for any team to guard something like that, especially when you have freshmen and rookie linebackers playing that position, having to watch all that. It's just very, very, very hard to figure out what is going on. And obviously, they are all speed demons out there with Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman. Travis Kelce's fast for a tight end, and he's just like, it's just very, very fast and very, very tough to guard, especially when they go in all these kind of different directions. And Patrick Mahomes can obviously throw it 80 yards down the field with no problem off his back leg, fading to his right, throwing to his left. You know what I mean? Like, he can also take off and run for a bit too. He's not slow, and he knows how to maneuver his body well, obviously with the throws he's thrown. So it's a very hard offense to play around, especially when you're not scoring back. You're not inclined to really stop them. That was the biggest thing, honestly, this game. The Ravens just weren't doing anything. Lamar was getting constantly pressured. Don't get me wrong, he can run, but still, Chris Jones was getting everything he wanted. He got in there, he got a sack, fumble, he'd do whatever the hell he wanted. Chris Jones was eating up that O-line of the Ravens, eating them up. But that was the biggest issue. Like, Baltimore cut down big early and couldn't keep playing the offense they wanted to play, so they're forced to throw the ball more often and do a lot of things, and it really hurt them. And they weren't able to do what they wanted to do and how they play offense. And you see that in the game, honestly. You really do. Mark Andrews also he was dropping a lot of catches that he definitely should have had. There's some issues there that need to be sorted out, but I think they'll be okay. Obviously, I think it just might be a weak blunder and it'll be all right. But something you really got to think about for them, if you can, as we saw, the Chiefs kind of have the way of slowing them down. If you just get up big early and get a couple stops, 1 or 2, it throws them out their game and they can't do what they want and play their offense, and that's how they lose games. So they might have figured out the formula, which is good to know for any team trying to beat them, obviously. So, hope you guys enjoyed the podcast today. It's a little bit of a longer episode. I hope you guys don't mind, but I had a lot to talk about, and very much enjoyed this one. I feel like it was a lot more coming from me, a lot of less just reading off stats, more of giving my factual opinion on stuff and how I feel. And I hope you guys very much enjoy that, and hope you guys like that, because that's very much what I would like to do. So thank you guys. Hope you guys have a great night, or whenever you guys are listening to this. I'm recording this at like 8:30, so night for me. Hope you have a great rest of your week too, and we're gonna pick this up probably on Friday, maybe Saturday, depending on how I feel, but most likely Friday. Monday is gonna be the normal schedule. And yeah. Oh, before I leave, we're not gonna talk about the FSU game because FSU's line is absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. James Blackman was making horrible reads, but the O-line was not getting them anywhere, and Miami just did what they wanted. It wasn't fun to watch as an FSU fan, especially when you have somebody that's a UM fan constantly texting you saying, hey, you see that? Hey, you see that? Hey, you see that? So, yeah, I'm very aggravated about that, and we're just not going to talk about it. Yeah, we're just not going to talk about that. But besides that, yeah, hope you guys have a great night or day, whatever you guys are listening to this. And stay long, stick around, and hope you guys very much enjoy. Peace.